This is your Fit Mom Make-Time Jumpstart. And what I want to do here is help you change your mindset around how much time you need and what you need to do in order to have the time to invest in yourself. I don't know about you, but being a mom is hard, right? It's a 24-hour thing, basically a lifetime thing, right? But I've found that so many of us have given up so much, have given up so much of ourselves, of our needs, of our desires, of our hopes, and of our dreams once we become mothers. Now, being mothers is one of the most selfless things in this world, and it's okay to have to give up certain things in certain times of life. I call them seasons, right? There are seasons where we put ourselves second or third or fourth in line because the baby needs us the first few months, so they need to be first, right? They're so dependent on us, and you know, we can kind of climb up in the order of priorities as they get bigger. But I think just from working with so many women for so many years that we just get used to putting ourselves last. We get so used to how much our family needs us, the kids needs us, our home needs us, our husband needs us, that we just, being last is just what we do, right? I know I've felt like that for many times in my life, and I wasn't happy. And it took kind of like just a fall and crying for hours and days to realize that I needed to make myself first, and that my family was actually going to benefit from me investing a little bit of time in myself. So the first thing I want to do is help you change your mindset around this whole thing that you should feel guilty about putting yourself first, that everybody else is priority but you. I'm not sure what your hopes are, what your dreams are, or what your goals are, but hopefully if you're here, one of your goals is being healthier, is being more fit, maybe losing some weight, getting toned, gaining some energy, just gaining your confidence back and feeling a little bit more comfortable in your own skin as a mom, right? And if you want to do that, you've got to understand that it is not selfish, okay? You can be just as good of a mother, okay, if not better, if you invest a little bit of time in yourself. I always say this, if mom is happy, right, it's like happy wife, happy life. Well, happy mom, happy life also. When you feel confident, when you have energy, you are just gonna approach your days and your life in a different manner. And it's gonna help you so much. Your kids need you, they do, but they need you in your best state. Your husband, your kids, your home needs you, but they need the best version of you. And if you've sacrificed a lot of you in the last few days, first of all, I wanted you to pat yourself on the back and just celebrate you and just acknowledge the fact that you have put yourself last and that you've invested so much in everybody else. And just being grateful for that and acknowledging it, but also saying, okay, it's time to start putting myself up in the line. It's time to start investing a little bit of more time and energy in me so that I can be a better mother, so that I can be a better wife. And you're gonna see that as you start being able to spend a little bit more time on you, no matter what it is, whether it's exercise or spending time with your girlfriend or cooking healthy, whatever it is that you're gonna choose to invest in you, I promise you will see it in your life and how much patience you have with your kids and the kinds of things you want to do with your kids and your spouse, and you're going to see that it's worth it, okay? But I want you to just embrace the fact that you need to make yourself a priority and that everybody in your home, especially especially your kids, are gonna be so happy and reap the benefits of you investing a little bit in yourself, okay? Now, if you wanna invest time in yourself, you've gotta make time for it, right? Because one of the biggest things of us moms, one of our biggest obstacles or our biggest hardships is that there's no time, right? Like, I feel like I have no time for anything. I love to get my nails done, but I would never get my nails done if I didn't make it a priority. Now, how do you make a priority? Well, you make time for it. So just the way I schedule my kids' dentist appointments, my kids' hitting lessons, my daughter's ballet every week, and I put all those things in my calendar and in my phone and make sure that I do that right. I have a pickup time for my kids, just the way I schedule a time to pick up my kids and take them here and there. I schedule myself a nail appointment. I do gels, so I schedule an appointment every 3 weeks on the same day at the same time. When my kids were younger and I didn't do gels, I had a nail appointment every Friday at 11 a.m. Sometimes I would bring them with me, sometimes I wouldn't, but that was my hour for me to get my nails done. And I just found myself after my first child, just realized I was just so unhappy and I just felt so yucky about myself and I couldn't figure out why. And it was because I was doing nothing for myself. I wasn't doing my hair, like my roots were up to here. I wasn't getting my nails done. I didn't have time to exercise. I was exhausted and I just didn't feel like a woman. I just felt like a mom. Not that that's bad, but you know what I mean. I just felt like one of those like crazy, you know, like just didn't have my stuff together, felt terrible, like those like first few months postpartum. Just didn't feel good about myself and it was affecting me in my entire life. And so one day when I cried for hours because I realized how unhappy I was like, okay, I need to make time for this because I don't have the extra time, right? If you don't make the time, something else is always gonna come up. I had to make the time. I had to schedule it and commit to it. So I looked in my calendar, I said, okay, Fridays at 11 a.m., that's my hour no matter what. So I'm not gonna plan anything for the kids that way. I'm not gonna feed, I'm not gonna go on a play date. Fridays at 11, that's my time to get my nails done. And I started doing it. So I went from not having time and being overwhelmed and never doing my nails and not taking care of myself to now making the time. I did the same thing with exercise. I was like, I can't believe that this is my life, right? Fitness is what I do. I'm a fitness professional. I'm a trainer. How can I not? But I was so exhausted with the babies and I couldn't find the time. And there was always something to do, a feeding, a play date, cooking, cleaning, organizing, getting their stuff ready. There wasn't enough hours in the day until I made it a priority, until I made myself a priority and I created the time. I created it. So I said, okay, I know it's gonna be really hard. I've gotta wake up an extra earlier. Now we're talking about when the kids are actually like sleeping through the night, right? And you're like, oh, they're finally sleeping, but in your sleep, you're finally sleeping. But I had to say, this is the only time I know I'm gonna be consistent. Later on in the day, stuff is gonna happen, things are gonna come up and I'm never gonna do this. So I said, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Ouch, I know that sounds so early, but it's the only time I can be consistent. So I created that time. I'm not sure what that time is for you. You've got to figure it out, but you've got to create the time in your day. You've got to schedule a time and a day, a few times a week to do the things that you need to do that are going to make you feel alive again, that are going to start helping you move towards those dreams and goals and aspirations of being the mom and wife that you want to be. So I did that. I said, I commit to 3 days, 5 a.m., woke up an hour earlier than I really needed to, than my kids were going to. I set it in my calendar, I set notifications, and I committed to it. So what is it that you want to do? Do you need to make time for exercise? Do you need to make time for healthy cooking so that you can eat healthier? Well, you are not just going to have the time. I promise you that something is always going to come up. something always is going to be more important. You've got to create the time. So grab your calendar, grab your phone, whatever you plan your life with, and create that time for yourself, okay? Just like you do your kid's dentist appointment and your kids' after school activities and the time that you wake up to get them ready for school, whatever, just like you do all those things, you need to schedule that time for you. We're never gonna have that extra time, I promise. I've spent 20 years hearing excuses from people. You know, when they sleep through the night, then I'll start exercising. When they not colicky anymore, I'll start exercising. When they start preschool, I'll start exercising. When they start elementary school, I'll start exercising. When they're not so, and something's always gonna come up. There's never gonna be the right time. You have to embrace that. You're a mother, those kids are gonna be dependent on you basically forever, and you just are gonna have to create the time for yourself. I promise you, you can do this. I've done it myself, and I know that you can. And now that you're changing your mind and you're realizing that there's nothing wrong with you making time for yourself. There's nothing wrong with you making yourself a priority, because your kids and your husband are going to benefit greatly from you doing so. Now that you've changed your mind around that and you are accepting and acknowledging the fact that there's never going to be the right time, that you've got to create the time and then commit to it, you are going to be on top of the world. You're going to be able to do anything, my friend. I have been able to make time to do healthy, to go to the grocery store every week, and to prep meals every week, and to cook healthy every night, healthy meal for my family every night, and to exercise 4 or 5 times a week now that my kids are bigger. And I still run a business, and my kids are in a million activities, and I've been able to do this because I have created the time and the space to allow me to do it. I never just had the extra time. My business is 24 hours. It doesn't shut down, right? So I can't just wait till I have the extra time or the energy or feel like it. I create the time and I committed to it. So I'm excited for you to do the same. It's amazing what happens when you change your mindset and when somebody gives you permission. So if you need permission today to make yourself a priority, this is it. I am giving you permission to make yourself a priority. I'm giving you permission to spend time and energy and resources on you, because your family is going to benefit, because they are going to get the best version of you. They need you. You need to be at your best. And you're only going to be at your best when you feel at your best, because you've been investing in you. I know what it feels like to not be at your best. And I want to tell you one last story, of which was my breaking point, but I am excited for you to make these changes. Now, when I had my daughter, she was my second, my son was 3 and he was going to school 3. He had just started going to school 3 times a week till noon. And I had a client that kept telling me to put him in 5 days till noon. And I was like, no, you know, I feel bad. I feel guilty. I don't want to put him in school just because I'm having the baby. I'm just, you know, going to try to be super mom. And so I was feeling terrible about myself. And one day I was just like crying to my husband, and I was like, my hair and my nails, and I feel fat and huge. And, you know, I was just like complaining and crying. And he was like, well, why don't you go get your hair done? And so I was like, okay, well, finally somebody gave me permission. So I made an appointment and I went. And first time like out of the house, and, you know, I think my daughter was 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, gonna do something for myself. And I go there and I sit on the chair, and my guy starts doing my hair, and in comes this one client, the one that had told me about the school. And she was like, Michelle, hey, how are you? And I was like, hey. She was like, how are you? And I was like, And I proceeded to cry for like 2 hours. Like the entire time that the man was doing my hair, I was crying. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't have time, and the baby cries, and Nico needs me, and he wants me to play, and I don't have time. And she was like, why didn't you put him in school, 5 days? It's okay. He's gonna have fun. He's gonna be with his friends. He's gonna make friends. He's gonna be playing. He's gonna be learning, and he's gonna be challenged, and then you can spend time with the baby and just focus on her and be a little bit more calm and collected and not so stressed out. And then you can pick him up and spend some time with him on his own while you put her in. And I was like, you know what? I've got to try this, because whatever I'm doing right now isn't working. And so I went home and I called and I put him in school 5 days, and it was life-changing. And you know what? I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel mom guilt anymore, because it was good for him. It was worse for him to be home, asking for me and needing me, and I couldn't because I was nursing the baby. It felt like 24 hours a day. And it was just, I was putting mom guilt on myself. It's not bad for him to spend some time away from me. And so once I embraced that, it was like the best thing I could have ever done for him, for the baby, and for myself. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I know a lot of times the reason why we don't fully commit to exercise, don't fully commit to eating healthy, don't fully commit to whatever goal or dream or aspiration you have, is because we feel bad about the time that we're investing in ourselves and taking away from our family. So just know that everything you do for yourself to better yourself is an investment that your family is making in time for themselves. They're gonna reap the returns of it, okay? And also that was a huge moment for me, because I came back, like I remember getting in the car and I had stopped crying, and now I knew I had a plan of what I was gonna do, and I had my hair done, and I was in the car, and I put like the AC on, and it was like blowing in my hair, and I was jamming, the music was on loud, and I came home like an entirely different human being. I was like alive again. And my husband just couldn't even believe like how I was that whole night. And he told me, he was like, you really need to do more for yourself. And those are just little things that you start doing, that you start seeing the changes, and you realize that it's okay to spend time with yourself, invest time for yourself. There was a time where I was feeling very resentful with my husband, because he had football games to watch and basketball games to watch with his friends, and he had all these things, but I didn't have anything. I felt like I was always with the kids, and I was always taking care of the house. And so I gave myself permission to do a girls' night every other week and do a Bible study with my girlfriends. And it's really great, because we fellowship for a while, we hang out and we chit chat and we catch up, and we also do our book study. But I'm so much of a better wife now, because I get that little bit of time for myself with my girls. And I was being angry and resentful before. So you see how taking a little bit of time for myself, that I needed that girl time, is really going back to my husband and my relationship with my husband. So how can you make time, create the time to exercise or eat healthy? And how will it affect your family in a good way? Think about that, and then make the plan, set the time, set your reminders, be very specific about what days and times you are going to do all the things that you need to do to invest in yourself. And remember, never feel bad for making yourself a priority.